Thanks for the support as a channel member, JM Thought. No, I realise selling Gregoire could be seen as a big risk. We can never get him back now, as per the rules you gave me. Yep. Signing the two Spanish youngsters for best part of 60 million each. Also pretty risky. We need immediate performances out of them and or big sell-ons in a few years' time. But I genuinely think, this is the team. This is the squad. This is the season. Champions League, here we come. Maybe. Hello, welcome to part 126 of Homegrown. I'm Kev. I'm wearing the best shirt you've ever seen. And coming up on today's episode, we have a pretty tricky start to a new Premier League season. We start off away against Slam Dunks Arsenal and then at home against Manchester United. I mean, that's tricky. That is a pretty tricky start to the season. Also in this video, we should find out who we play in the fourth qualifying round for the Europa Conference League. It's either going to be Wisla Krakow or Radniki Nis. They're Polish. This lot are Serbian. So we'll face one of those. And then I think assuming we win that, we should win regardless of which one we play against. That should get us into the group stages of the Conference League. And that's it. That's my first time ever playing in the Europa Conference League. It was confirmed in the comments earlier in the week. So that is going to be an interesting one. As you'll know, we have done big transfer business in yesterday's transfer special. If you haven't seen it, you should go back and watch it. We didn't just sign one player for 66 million. We also signed another one for 52 and then spent another 40 or 50 or so on 4 more youngsters and sold some players who've been part of the furniture here at home for a little while. Moving on, we've lost Lukinas, we've lost Ola Richards, we've lost Gillespie, we've of course lost Gregoire, as mentioned, to Mrs Wearmouth in the intro there. So there's a lot of players who've been in and around the squad for a long time who've moved on. So it is a bit of a new look team, and we are going to have to do the first half of the season without Fazekas at the back, who has a broken leg and is one of a number of players who are injured and unavailable for this first game of the new season. We're without Veloso, Villalobos, Jordi, Lilis, Kawalik and Fazekas, all unavailable for this game. So, yeah, I mean, we couldn't register Bueno, so we probably just need to get rid of him. Just move him down to the under-23s so I forget he exists. That's probably best for him. So this is the team for the game against Slam Dunks Arsenal. Bit experimental in midfield with Perez, who we signed as a winger, playing as a deep line playmaker on defend. Oliveira, who we signed as an attacking midfielder, playing as a box-to-box midfielder. And then both Todd Thomas and Rogers both starting in the back four. It's not ideal, but if we don't get thumped today, then I think that really does stand us in good stead for the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to seeing this front four of Richardson, Francisco, Jose and Park, especially knowing we've got Villalobos and Jordi to both add into that mix. Bayer's still lurking as well. We've got lots of attacking options. We just need all these attacking midfielders who we're converting to central midfielders to work. If that doesn't work, we have a problem. One other potential problem on the horizon, which is why he's not starting, is Ali Basic, who was injury ravaged last season. Oh, hang about. Was refusing to sign a new contract because there was interest in him. If we can get him on a 5-year contract, he may well start in the second of the 2 games. But he's actually falling down the pecking order a little bit. All the injuries he got last season, he's now not as good in central midfield as Oliveira, Perez or Hodgkinson. Both Oliveira and Perez showing us 3.5 stars of ability in central midfield, which I'm not going to argue with. I'm going to play them there and see what happens. So this is the team for the Arsenal game. Williams in goal. A back four of Perisato, Rogers, Anderson and Thomas. Perez and Oliveira in midfield. Richardson and Park out wide. Jose and Francisco up front. I really want Juan Jose to be as good as I hope he can be. Both him and Jordi have both scored tons of goals for their respective B teams over in Spain, but they've never really had much in the way of top flight experience. They're both obviously only 18 because that's how we're able to sign them. So neither of them have really got any game time for their previous clubs. Jose was at Sevilla, Jordi at Barcelona. Obviously, if Jordi had been playing for the Barcelona first team, you wouldn't have expected us to be able to bring him in. And you could arguably say the same thing for Jose. If he's a first team regular at Sevilla, then he probably doesn't come to home. He's taken a knock 20 minutes in, and we've lost another of our new signings. Arsenal have hit the post, and between Williams and Thomas, they scramble it away. We're going to have to take we're going to have to take Jose off, and we're going to bring on Bayer and abandon this deep lying forward plan that we had and go back to Bayer as a pressing forward, because I'm pretty sure that's still what he's best at. I mean, to be fair, he can do complete forward and deep lying forward. He's good at all of the support striker roles. I think I will make him an attacking pressing forward, though, rather than a supporting one, just to get him up and about in the attack a little bit more. We know Bayer, he's more about scoring goals than creating them. There's probably an argument for swapping him and Francisco over and having Bayer as the most attacking striker and Francisco playing more of that link-up man role that he was doing alongside Villalobos for the last half dozen or so games of last season. Arsenal are ahead. It was coming. They'd had a couple of chances early on. Is that my boy Lamptey, who I missed out on when he was at Southampton? He's now made it to Arsenal. Arsenal collecting players that I've either had or want. They've got Lamptey and Gregoire in the team. Two ones who got away. In fact, Gregoire's not even starting for them. That really does rub salt in the wound. Has he gone in there and got injured? Because he's not in their team at all, which is surprising, really, that he's not even in the squad. He must have gone and picked up an injury. So I guess if he'd still been with us, he wouldn't have been playing anyway. So let's not worry about it. 1-0 down at half-time. Not ideal that we've had to make that change up front. The midfield doesn't look disastrous, although Perez has picked up a yellow card. The back four is what the back four is going to be. There's not really much we can do to shuffle up the back four. So Harrison Davies is next in line to come in back there. Elias is currently down in the under-23s, along with all of the other strikers we brought in over the summer. They've just not got the star ratings yet. I really want all of them to go out on loan, although we might have to just give one of them a baptism of fire. That's great goalkeeping from Williams there. And we might have to throw one of them into the first team if Rodgers doesn't work out, but I'm putting a lot of hope on Rodgers, really. I don't necessarily want to loan out all three of the youngsters that we brought in at centre-back, maybe two of them, and whichever one doesn't go, we'll move up into the first team squad once the transfer window is closed. But for now, I'm keen to invite offers for them, and Bayer's in, and that's gone just wide, and that was a big opportunity for Bayer. Bayer feels a little bit like a reincarnation of Troy Cannon. Those of you who remember Troy Cannon from many moons ago, came through the youth system, kind of didn't notice he was coming through. Nobody spotted him as a name in the game player, but he ended up in the first team or in and around the first team anyway, and then stuck around for years, always played as a pressing forward, always looked like he was going to be brilliant, scored a lot of goals early on, but never really nailed down a spot in the first team and never really fulfilled the potential. Bayer is still young enough to not follow the exact same career path, but he's certainly following the entire plan so far. He needs to get some goals this season. He remember this time last year, he scored 2 goals on the first day of the new season, and we thought he was the second coming. We thought he was the new Mick Powell. The only problem is he then didn't score again until Christmas, and that's when he lost his spot in the side, when he went so long without scoring, and he's never really got himself back in. This is an opportunity for him today. He needs to step up and take the opportunity, and so far, that's not what's happening. Arsenal 2-0 up, and we don't really look like threatening their goal at all. And as much as it pains me to say it, because of his tendency to go out clubbing when he's supposed to be training for big matches, we don't look the same attacking force without Villalobos in this team, just running around the way that he does. And I think we probably need to get him fit, or possibly Veloso could be the man, who is still only 18, I think, and has scored goals away in the MLS, always looks a threat. Maybe this is the year that he emerges. But neither of them fit for today. And while I'm wondering if we've got the right players playing up front, Arsenal are just casually getting 3 goals and ripping our defence apart. We are not the same at the back without Fazekas and Abagai. And I think this is going to be a problem this year. I know we've tried a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder before, and it really didn't work. We just got thumped over and over again when we tried it. It might be time to go back to it, because we don't have a defence. And that's a problem. Right. I think both wingers are playing terribly. We're going to go to the diamond, which for some reason I'm not currently training, which I had been training before. So let's load up my Streamer Showdown Diamond. We're going to take off the 2 wide players. And where's Francisco? There he is. So he can go in there. See, this is a problem. Again, no central midfielders. Alibasic can come on in there. Passotti can come on there. And we'll try this. We'll see if this might be the system that works. Maybe we want those two that way round. Big, deep breath. Let's see if this works. Because what we've been doing so far absolutely hasn't been working. And Passotti might be seeing this lack of defenders as an opportunity to get himself back in the team, because he's not really been a regular starter for over a year now. And Francisco has got the ball in the back of the net. I think it's being disallowed, but immediately upon the change in system, we've had our best attack of the game and our best chance of the game, albeit one that has been disallowed for offside. So, I mean, it would be mad. It would be mad to get rid of the wide players when we've got Richardson and Park, who are great. We've got Yordi, who is there to compete with Richardson on the left. We can't bin off wingers entirely, but maybe sometimes they're just not going to work. Maybe today's that day. Maybe we're just not good enough. Maybe this is going to be one of those seasons where when you qualify for Europe for the first time and then really struggle in the league because you realise your squad isn't big enough to compete on multiple fronts, which is absolutely not an excuse on the first day of the new season, but this is not starting well. And based on this performance, I mean, we all know Slam Dunk is a very good manager. I know. I can hear you down in the comments. I can only hope he's not at Arsenal very long and he becomes England manager. But I hope he's just brilliant, and that's why we've been thumped, because otherwise we've spent all our money. We don't really have the option to go out and improve this team. We've lost Abagai, we've lost Gregoire, we've now lost Fazikas. Have we lost too many of our key players in too short a time? Well, I had hoped to have Villalobos back in the team for the Manchester United game, but for now, the fourth time. He has been seen leaving a bar in the early hours of the morning and is absent for match day. We've fined him 2 weeks' wages. I don't know what more I can do. He's in a mentoring group with Kieran Hodgkinson. He's getting fined 2 weeks' wages every time he does it, and he just doesn't care. But this is 4 big matches he's missed now. Or 3 big matches in part of summer. We've got to get rid of him, haven't we? It doesn't matter how good he is. I think we have to just get rid of him. If we can get... I mean, these big money signings, they tend to go for about double what we paid for him. I don't know if anyone will take him with his issues off the pitch. But if we could get 60 or 70 million for him, I think we go with Veloso as our man for the future. And we also just turned down a £42 million offer for Perez, who's been playing in midfield for 1 game. It was from Hertha Berlin, and he wanted a new contract, but he has signed one, thankfully. So that's him tied down to a new contract. Yeah, not ideal. What we are doing is bringing in different defenders. So Kowalik is now available. So he's going to make his club debut, even though he's a left back. He's going to make his club debut playing at centre back alongside Anderson, because he's 3 stars there. He's coming straight in. I've also brought Elias up from the under-23s. He's there ready to come on if needed. Rodgers, I mean, at 22 years old and only 3-star potential, I don't think Rodgers is going to be the one. I know he played 15 games last year, but only 5 starts. I don't think Rodgers is a man we can commit to until Christmas. So I think it's going to be between Kowalik and Elias to see who takes that position alongside Anderson, because at least they've both got 5-star potential. So we're developing a player by playing a player who's not very good. I mean, to be fair, I'm talking about Rodgers. Anderson's exactly the same. He's only a year older, and he's also only 3-star potential. So I guess there's an argument to get rid of him as well. But the difference with Anderson is he averaged a 7.1 in 33 games last year, and he's previously won the English Players' Young Player of the Year. So there's a little bit more calibre with Anderson. Even if this is as good as he's ever going to get, we know he's already good enough, whereas Rodgers isn't, and isn't really ever going to get any better. So that's my reasoning for going with Anderson and binning off Rodgers for now. I mean, he might end up back in the mix in no time. That's the only change. Like I say, would have liked there to have been 2 changes. Luckily, Juan Jose is not badly injured, so he can start again, even though he had to go off early in that game against Arsenal. And all eyes on him, really, because we've fixed the defence. Theoretically, with Kowalik going in there. Or Kowalik. Is the W a V in Polish? I need... He is Polish, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's Polish. Yeah, Polish. Is it Kowalik or Kavalik? I feel like I should probably get his name right. I also wonder how nobody got him as a name in the game player. There's a couple who've slipped through the net. You lot need to keep a better eye on the channel members page, the community page. Those of you who are naming the game channel members, although I guess we're now at the point where most of the people who are naming the game channel members probably already have a player. So that's why there's a few starting to slip through because, oh God, that was a wild challenge. Unnecessary, didn't even help, and we're 1-0 down again. So big focus on Kowalik, big focus on Juan Jose. And I guess we still need to be keeping a strong eye on Perez in midfield because 4.5 stars or not in there, or 3.5 stars or whatever he is, if he's not actually any good at playing the role, we've got Ali Basic who can sit in there and at least we've seen him ping those balls over the top loads of times before. We've got Kieran Hodgkinson knocking around. We've got experience we can bring in if this young central midfield partnership isn't going to get the job done. But we did a young central midfield partnership last year with Oliveira and Gregoire, who were even younger because Oliveira was a year younger. Gregoire, I think, is the same age as Perez, so he would have been a year younger last year. And it was fine last year. Maybe the 4-2-4 is not going to work. Maybe after signing all these strikers, we're going to have to go back to playing an attacking midfielder again, which again draws Oliveira or Perez into the team further forward potentially, or Wally comes back in and we sacrifice one of these strikers we've just spent a lot of money on. I shouldn't be judging too much based on opening games against Arsenal and Manchester United, but in our 5 years in the Premier League now, we've never been bottom. And right now, we're bottom of the Premier League. So I don't care who we've started the season against. We don't want to be bottom of the Premier League because once you're there, it's hard to move up the league because we know how important momentum and morale is in Football Manager. Cowlick's missed a very important header there, and that's potentially problematic. It's not directly led to a goal, but he is a left-back playing at centre-back. He can theoretically play there, but at 19 years old, for a left-back to make his debut out of position against Manchester United... We need defenders. I signed 3 in the summer. Maybe Elias needs to make his debut in the next game. The next game, you will see the next game as well because I'm going to show you tomorrow. Williams. Tomorrow I'm going to be showing you the 2 Conference League qualifying games. They're our first ever games in Europe. We've got to show them. So maybe Harrison Davies needs to come back in for that. Ugh. This is not going so well. I'm not going to get too down on them because it's Manchester United and I don't want to wreck morale any further than our form is already going to wreck it. We're not even looking like scoring. That's the other thing. Villalobos has really frustrated me. We are demanding more now. We have looked toothless and rubbish in these first 2 games. I think we've been off the 4-2-4. With immediate effect. And when I say immediate, I mean we're doing it mid-match. We're going back to this. Juan Jose can play there, can't he? So we can just slot him in behind Francisco. We don't even need to change personnel to switch around to this. So, in fact, we'll leave them that way round. But play him in that role and he can play that role. See, both of them want to be attacking playmakers and they're just not going to be. Because... we need them to... They're both supposed to sit in front of the back 4. And neither of them are the kind of player who wants to or is really capable of doing that. Right, we're going to move him to left back. We're going to get Elias on. And we're going to have a look at Elias. See if he's an improvement. Centre back. What kind of centre back are you, Elias? You want to be a ball playing defender? Fine. Be a ball... In fact, let's swap these 2 back round. Yeah, we'll do that. We're going to take off Francisco and bring on Bayer. What is wrong with Park? He was fantastic last year. He's not started this season very well at all. I think we put a rocket up him and we take him off and bring on Wally to play on that side and potentially put Jose out wide. No, we'll leave him in the middle. We'll do this. Let's see if a switch back to the old faithful. It might suit Jose better. Jose's not played well yet. He's not really had much of an opportunity to. A lot of these players are going to take time to settle in. We've made a lot of changes this summer compared to last year when we didn't really change the team very much. We've lost 2 key players in Fazikas and Gregoire. We've got a lot of players who've got very little experience at any level. That's a good tackle there from Elias. Keep an eye on him. He might be the answer. Wally now on the right-hand side. Todd Thomas. Remember, this time last year, Todd Thomas was a player who didn't really have any experience, and he's now a key part of the team. So it doesn't take long for them to establish themselves if they're good enough. Thomas, I don't think he's won a penalty there. I think that's outside of the area, but it's good attack-minded play from Thomas, and if it's not a penalty, it's going to be a threatening free kick. So it's better than nothing. Give us a penalty, ref. Come on, cut us a little bit of slack. We need something going into these European games. We need some signs of life out of this team. No penalty. Can we score from the free kick then? Somebody do something. Who's taking it? Is that Richardson? He's gonna. I don't know. Is he gonna shoot? He's in. It's an in-swinger. Looking at that far post. Doesn't find a home shirt. And Manchester United get away on the break. We've looked better since the switch to the 4-2-3-1. I think we might have to go back to this. The only problem is the switch. I guess the switch to the 4-2-4 was all about getting the best out of Villalobos, and it did. He's not in the team, so let's not play that system when he's not in the team. But he's likely to be back for the Conference League game. Do we bring him back in, even though he's a naughty boy? And if we do we go with this system, which has looked better in this game? That could just be because United have taken their foot off the pedal. Or do we go with what we know works with him? What qualified us for Europe last season? Don't read too much into it. Two good teams. What a horrible start to the season. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.